And welcome to Dirtbag Baseball Nation, everybody. Kirk McNabb, and it's great to be back here. And we're super excited today to be starting this next series with our good friends from Diamond Kinetics, and put a lot of thought and process into this series as well as we do with everything. Because at the end of the day, as you know, it's all about educating you to the best of our ability on training advice, on products out there, on training aids out there. So ultimately, you're empowered moving forward, whether you're a player, the parent of a player, coaches out there with amateur sports and stuff like that. In this case, baseball and softball. We're lucky enough to have that combination through Diamond Kinetics and the wizardry behind what they've created with PitchTracker and SwingTracker, their devices. So, again, like I said, we're excited to bring it to you. So on that note, what I'm talking about is we've been lucky enough, Braden and Nolan and myself, through connecting with JD Vidal, one of the Southeast business managers for Diamond Kinetics this past year and stuff like that, to be able to have, the devices. And there it is, it's as simple as that. There's an example of the baseball pitch tracker. There's the softball pitch tracker that we're talking about from DK. All right, they come in these pretty little boxes, and it really is, it's incredible what they do. Well, same thing for the softball as well. And then of course the swing tracker, it's mind-boggling to me. So I'll show you quick or whatever. And now your box comes, it's nice, it's there, it's pretty. You open it up, all the information, but that little sensor right there is what we're talking about. And that's what we're going to be going into over the next few episodes. As far as the swing tracker part of it goes, you open it up and they've laid it out really pretty with all the information all inside and out to be able to do it. Then from there, you go ahead and you put that little sensor that I just showed you in this knob placement for the bat. And there it is. You can see it. I'm close enough. There it is inside it now. You go from there, you put it on the knob of the bat. And it is tough. I will give you that. I'll give you the heads up right now. They've designed it. That's a good hard rubber. It's malleable, but it's tough. It's on there. There's no fooling around. And there it is right inside. That's Braden's bat, as you can see, or whatever. And there it is, Braden. All right. So there you go. We've been using them and working with them for the last 4 or 5 months, and it's just blowing our way. So we were super pumped about doing this series and super honored to be able to have the DK team. And on that note, I'm not going to waste any more of my time. Let's get down to the nuts and bolts and the hammers of what Diamond Kinetics is and who they are, as we like to do. It's more than just the products. The products are the exciting thing, but let's start to find out how this all came to be. So on that note, CJ Handron from Pittsburgh headquarters and stuff like that of Diamond Kinetics, the CEO and co-founder of Diamond Kinetics. Great to have you with us, buddy. I can't thank you enough for joining us and sharing your knowledge and sharing your team with us.
Yeah, thanks, Kirk. And I'm thrilled to be here and so excited that you guys are interested in, really understanding a little bit more of the behind the scenes, if you will, and a little bit more of kind of what makes our company tick. So I'm thrilled to be here with you.
Yeah, and that's a great segue, my man. Like, let's go ahead, as we always like to do with our series, and that it's I think the story behind these companies, in this case, Diamond Kinetics, is as valuable as the product. So the audience really gets to know, where does a concept like this come to be? Like, it must be a fun world that you live in, but yet the daunting times of making it come to fruition.
Yeah, I guess maybe I'll give you a minute or two on kind of how this all came out of the ground, because I think it's a pretty neat story. And I can't take credit for that. So this actually really starts with a curious engineering professor at the University of Pittsburgh, who also doubled as a coach for all of his kids as they were growing up, but baseball and softball. And he just really wanted to understand in a more consistent way what was happening with these crazy motions, right? They're hard, they're fast. The eyes can trick you from time to time. And so he really started tinkering with, how do I measure a swing? And how would I measure a throw? And so I crossed paths with him when I also was at the University of Pittsburgh. And I basically worked with entrepreneurs and students and faculty to get new ideas off the ground, get them out of the university. And he literally walked in my office one day with a baseball bat over his shoulder, a laptop under his arm, this big crazy sensor that was about that big to start with that he had bolted to the middle of the bat. And listen, I'm a through and through baseball guy. I've been, it's the only sport I really played growing up. I love it. I owe, most of my long-term friendships and teamwork and leadership skills and everything to the game. And so I immediately perked up and said, wow, this is pretty amazing, when he showed me this, this demo of being able to kind of track a bat through space in this engineering software. And so, we kind of came together and said, we're both deeply passionate about baseball and softball. We think this has this opportunity to have this really positive impact on the game, where for the first time, sensors are getting to a place that they were widely available. And it was something that you actually could envision everybody being able to use. You didn't have to be in a lab, and you didn't have to have, thousands and thousands of dollars to do it. And that's what got us so excited about this, was we actually felt like, this is something that we could work to bring to everybody. And, our goal here really is, at the end of the day, when you strip it all away, we want to have a positive impact on the games. They're hard games to learn. Sometimes they're monotonous and not fun games to practice, but you've got to do that to build the skills required in baseball and softball. And we felt like technology had an opportunity to do that, to help you understand who you are and your swing or your pitch, and then marry that together with some things that, once we know that information, we can give you tools, analysis, content that helps you do something with that to make changes and get better. So, that's kind of how we came out of the ground, was a deep passion for the games, a really smart and curious engineering professor who wanted to solve the problem, if you will, and then, an enthusiasm to try to do something exciting and important in baseball.
Yeah, and there's no question, you hit the nail on the head. Like you were saying, that's what I guess blew us away when we first started with the SwingTracker. We started there and then went over to the PitchTracker, and it was like, when you married, like you said, the connection of being able to do it with the phone. And at this point in time, it's just Apple products or whatever, iOS and that. But 2021, I know we'll talk about that. I know the integration of Android is coming. But so we were able to do that. And it blows my mind. Like, it really does, to be able to sit there and go, oh my God, there's swings. And all of a sudden it's up to the cloud, literally to the cloud, and then back down on your phone. And you've got this 3D animation coming on your phone of your swing. But I'll tell you, right then and there, CJ, it hit us like a ton of bricks. And we said, my goodness, this is a game changer in the fact of player development. The first thing that hit me in the head was, T-work. T-work can be one of the worst things in the world or whatever, in that, because the goal of T-work never really gets explained, right? So it makes sense, if we're an adult, you and I would get bored of swinging off a tee. Only imagine what a kid is, right? It's craziness. But I was like, that's a game changer. I was like, oh my God, Braden, you used it, and there's your swing. And you could see that from start to contact, he was excellent. And the information provided by you guys gave him that. But then after contact, his extension and follow through was short. And he knew that all the time. But now he can visually see it. And I go, oh my goodness, that's what I'm talking about. Whether it's T-work, soft toss, live, you can take your 8 reps or however many reps you want to take, and they'll be able to look at it and go, oh my goodness, I get it. Now I know what coach is. Now I understand what coach means. I'm either long to the ball or short through contact, whatever it is. What you guys have provided them is validation to that. So my point, I guess, is the player development is unbelievable. So that's where you are now. But how did you get that? How do you sit there as a group and go, how do we get baseball minds to sit with technology engineering minds and build this out?
Yeah, it's been, listen, every time I see it, I'm still kind of like, wow, I can't believe that, because I'm not a technology engineering guy. Right? So I'm still, blows my mind every time I see, what our team is able to kind of put together. And I think that, what we've experienced from a development perspective of it, before we get into kind of, how those things start to meld together kind of for customers in the market, is some of our engineering team are deeply passionate about baseball or softball. I mean, we have 2 former collegiate pitchers on our engineering team. Some of them and most have some passion for sports in general. But that's not a hard requirement, because what they all have is this passion and like motivation at like deeply challenging engineering problems and things that you want to solve that are hard to do. And what we do is hard, getting a tiny little, all the componentry required that's inside that ball or inside that sensor, getting 45 little tiny components onto a tiny little board and figuring out how to make it charge and how to make it transmit information and how to make sure it's accurate and how to make sure that it works when thousands and thousands of people are using it at the same time. From an engineering perspective, like that's motivating and exciting and challenging. And then I think that the second piece of that is that they get to see their work impact and influence people on a daily basis, right? Like they watch people use the product. When you see, some of the NCAA programs that we work with, when they get to interact with major league teams that work with us, when they get an opportunity to actually see people using their product, there's a satisfaction and passion to that. And so it's been really exciting for me to see they're all the smartest people I've ever met, right? And you put them all together, and then we work really hard to make sure we understand, hey, what is the best, what are we trying to provide? What are the outputs that a kid, a parent, and a coach need from us to make this a useful and valuable tool? And you bring baseball discussions together with technical discussions. And so most of our product discussions, most of everything that we do, have both those voices represented at all times. If we just did engineering and we did it in kind of in a bubble and never, listened or talked to anybody who was playing or using the product, we'd have a real problem. If we only did it and never, we only talked to players and coaches and we never had anybody from an engineering side who was listening to that and understood what was possible, we would create ideas for things, but not necessarily things that could be built or could be built to be used well and easily. So it's a delicate marriage of your engineering talent and people and the skills that they have, merging that together with listening and understanding baseball and softball and what our customers and parents and players and coaches need.
Yeah, and well, you're right. It has to be that marriage. That's a great way of putting it and stuff like that. Like-minded people, I guess, with a little bit of disagreements and stuff like that. But if the final outcome is always the goal, then that's, hey, you're well on your way. And obviously, with the way the industries are now, both baseball and softball, where they are in the tech evolution, and like, to me, we're still pretty in the infancy, really. It is unbelievable. And you guys would know that much more, again, because of the ideas that spring through your head and where you can take it all. But, I guess for the listeners, if you don't mind, where do you really believe DK fits in that? And the importance of, let's say, the amateur player trying to get to the collegiate level. We're not at the high school level yet or whatever, and out in the knowledge of getting out there, but let's say to the collegiate and the professional level. How does that connection work for them if they want to get a PitchTracker or the SwingTracker or the combination, the bundle?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, like, that's the audience that we're most focused on. We want to create experiences and products that support development so that whatever you define as the next level, right? And I think we talk about this a good bit here, right? It's not, just like you said, it's not necessarily locking in and saying it's to, go from here to playing on your high school team, or it's definitely from going from here to playing on it. It's understanding that everybody has a goal or a next level, right? All the way down to my 7-year-old who's just, really learning to play the game at this point. Like there are goals you have, whether it's, how you start to perform on a field, or the next team that you're trying to make, or whatever that might be. And I think our goal with our technology is to be able to support and fit in there for whatever your goals are. Because we do know that for most that play the game, you just inherently want to work to try to get better at it. And it's a hard game. So we all know it's all built on failure. And so there's lots and lots of room to get better. And our goal in there is that, when you think about technology in general and this kind of evolution or revolution, right? I would agree with you, right? I think it's in its beginnings in general. Sometimes we use baseball analogies, and things that we do, right? And so, we might be, we might be at the end of the third inning now in a 9-inning game in terms of, looking back 5 or 6 years and there being almost no technology around baseball. And now there's a lot of it, right? There's a lot of information being captured. And we're moving into stage now where I think people are really understanding what to do with that, how to refine it. How do you take data and make it be something actionable? And our job in our apps and our products is to do as much of that for a player and a coach and parent as we can. It's not to be a coach in a sensor. It's not to put that thing on the end of the bat and like, we don't need coaches anymore, right? Like it's definitely not what this is. It's to be a catalyst and a tool and to expedite a little bit. And so, if we can help you find a deficiency area where, the app can help you see or understand that you cast your hands, right? And that's a consistent issue in your swing. We can work to find that more quickly and help you, with some guidance, some feedback, even some instructional content from partners like USA Baseball to try to get at that more quickly to get you better a little faster, right? And that's really our goal, is that we can fit in and weave in. And because it is mobile based and because we feel like we have a very accessible and kind of affordable technology, we do feel like we're an important part of the overall sort of ecosystem here, if you will, because it can go, my 7-year-old can use the same exact product that all our MLB customers and NCAA customers use. And that's just unique and different, right? It is something that there's access at every single level. And we think that's really exciting.
Without question. And like he says, Dirtbags, it's the truth. If you haven't experienced a DK product yet, I'm telling you, it's really seamless. It's strategic, but in an all-encompassing way, just like CJ said. And that's what really is truly cool from us to you, whether that matters or not, but it really truly is. And especially when we focus so heavily on the amateur market and believe in the future of it and paying it forward, really paying our baseball experiences forward and stuff like that. So before we wrap up, I want one last thing in that. I know with the SwingTracker, you were further ahead as far as, like you said, the 3D animation and the heat sensors, your hot zones and stuff like that. But this past fall, for example, you really dove into the sensors of the pitching and catching up on that side of it and stuff like that. So without giving away the state secrets or whatever and stuff like that, or getting backlash from the rest of the team or whatever, what kind of innovating things that you might be able to share with the audience or that are exciting to you personally moving forward?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm happy to give you kind of a glimpse into some of the things you'll start to see, as we turn the calendar on a new year here. You're right. So we put, we put some effort into expanding the experience in PitchTracker. We have focused on hitting for longer, right? And so we rolled out a PitchTracker 3.0 that's got new metrics, new video capture tools, and just as an overall kind of better experience around using those smart balls. But it's also a springboard into things that we're preparing for next year. So you're going to begin to see instructional programs and content on the pitching side, similar to how we have them in hitting. You're going to see those programs on both hitting and pitching expand. So in-app tools that are kind of at your fingertips when you do want a drill to work on, or you want to work on a particular concept or program. We're going to try to provide more and more of that. We are focused on some really exciting things around how we watch and track how the body can move. So one of the partnerships that we started to talk about this fall is around our ability to with your mobile phone, track how your body moves. And so we're keenly interested on like bringing those pieces together. So as both a pitcher or hitter, it's one thing to be able to see that bat path in 3D or know what your spin rate or spin efficiency is coming out of the ball. But if we can also tell you how your body's moving and kind of marry those things together, we think it's really exciting. So you're going to begin to see that from us as we get into 2021. And then we're always looking for opportunities in places where, frankly, if customers and users in the market is telling us, boy, it would be great if these, pieces would work together, then we explore those. And one we actually just recently announced, with our friends and partners at Win Reality, where we're integrating our hitting sensor initially into a virtual reality, hitting system and program with Win. And so, this leverages and uses the Oculus headsets that are becoming more popular. And you can see pitching in VR and in virtual reality, take real swings with a DK sensor in real time and kind of marry all that together. So we're going to keep looking for innovative opportunities to provide, more opportunities and, ways you can use our technology all the way around a baseball, kind of experience, right? Whether that's player development or whether some of those things are just fun. And then you're going to see us kind of really push into really further understanding and pulling the pieces together on like how everything fits together instead of just how the equipment moves. So we're really excited about what the next 12 months or so holds from an innovation perspective.
I can only imagine, man. Good for you and the rest of the team for sure. So there you go, Dirtbags. That was just a little bit of a start and the right place to start. There's no question about it, right at the top with CJ and, get you sort of the background, a little bit of the story behind the scenes that we're not lucky enough to always be able to get. And CJ wanted to get that story out as much as we wanted to bring it out. And that was what was really exciting about it. So moving forward into the next episode is basically almost, I guess, CJ's right-hand man, not that any of the other guys aren't, but Jeff Schultz, and he's the chief commercial officer. And we're going to be diving into, the strategic partnerships and relationships that, right from the start to where they are and where the future leads and how they think about the growth of it to tie into what CJ was saying there. Because at the end of the day, they have a product that's relative from the pros all the way to the amateurs, the beginners. It doesn't matter when you start this game or when you finish this game. The PitchTracker and the SwingTracker from DK it's an all-encompassing, or they are all-encompassing products and stuff like that. So we're excited about having Jeff on, and then after him, we're going to have on, we're going to really dive into the PitchTracker itself with Kyle Bennett, their West Coast business manager, and then the SwingTracker with Chase from the New Jersey area and stuff like that. And so we're going to get there. But again, we want to really lay the groundwork so you really understand. It was important to us all that you really had a good, true understanding of what DK was as a family, as a team, as a partner with you, even though they may never get to see you or whatever, and that they truly are in this journey with us. And that's the exciting part of it. And so, CJ, I can't thank you enough for coming on. I can't thank you enough for sharing your team with us and the knowledge that's going to come out of this series with you. And I appreciate it, buddy. And I hope it's just the start of our journey and our relationship and stuff like that. As DK grows, we'd love to grow along with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, thanks so much for having me and for, kind of putting some time towards our story. We care a lot. All we do is baseball and softball. It's the only sports that we put any time or attention to. And we're trying to do it the right way. And we really appreciate, the opportunity to tell a bit of our story. So, looking forward to you having the opportunity to talk to some of the other folks on our team and certainly where we all go from here.
Can't wait, man. We're excited about it. So on that note, Dirtbags, you know what time of the week it is, man. It's time to get out there, get up, get after it, and get dirty. We'll be right back here.